just upgraded from this Canon 70D to this guy right here, the Sony A7RII. I got this one specifically for a number of reasons. The biggest reason being, like, well, I guess budget aside, because budget's always a reason, right? I wanted something that was going to be full frame, that I could still do video with. So I've been doing video with this Canon now for, oh gosh, probably like 4 years now. Something like that. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly. I've been doing just fine for a while. I mean, the screen still looks great. It doesn't have any huge, like, major scuffing or anything. Literally the only blemishes are on the lens, and that's because I just didn't take very good care of the lens, or at least the focus ring. For the most part, I always had either a polarizer or an ND filter, so there's no real scratches on the actual lens. The sensor's fine. I'm not even actually sure how many shutter actuations I have. I wonder if I can see that. I'm not too worried. But yeah, took real good care of this camera. And it did great for a while, but my biggest problem was that it only shot 1080 at 30, which isn't a huge deal for some people, but I wanted a wider range of shooting modes, and at the time when I bought it, it was great, and I think the 80D had just come out, so it wasn't that far behind. But it's just fallen a little bit behind now. I mean, 1080 at 30 is fine, but it is extremely limiting. So that was the main reason why I wanted to upgrade. I wanted something that will be able to do more, but I also didn't want to necessarily break the bank. Let me take that off. So I was looking for something that would have more video shooting options, at least frame rate wise, and I also wanted it to be full frame. So for no real specific reason other than, I mean, why not go full frame? And I've really liked the way the Sony bodies look. I mean, that profile, I love it. But with the A7 III coming out, and then the A7 IV or A7R4 Mark IV having been out, they're really expensive. Like, holy crap, they're expensive. I think for the body alone for the A7 Mark III was like $2,000, maybe a little bit less with a discount during the holidays, but I'm not going to spend $2,000 on just a body for a slight video upgrade. So then I did my research, and I found out that the A7R Mark II does 4K at 24 and 30, I believe, or maybe just 24 and 25 if you're shooting PAL. But it also does 1080 at 60, I believe, and maybe 120. I think it's 120. But for sure it is 60, and I'm like, awesome. That's the step in the right direction that I wanted to take. So I was looking at either this or the A7S Mark II. And the reason I didn't get that was because I'm a snob and it didn't have as many megapixels, which isn't a bad thing, especially if you're only shooting videos. If you're only shooting videos, then I think the 12 megapixel sensor it had would have been perfectly fine. But again, I'm kind of a snob, and I didn't want to compromise the megapixels for something less. So I found this one on eBay, which is actually in really good condition. It doesn't have, I think literally the only visible scuff I see is like right here. Everything else looks really good. The only thing that was kind of like pretty bad was the screen. I think I showed on the unboxing. I put a screen protector on and it made almost all of it instantly go away. Although there's a slight, let me see if there's a slight like scratch or something that I just couldn't get away, and I didn't want to peel off any more of like that polarized coating. So I just left it like that. But when it's actually on, let's see if it'll. Yeah, when it's actually on, I mean, I don't know if the video is doing it any justice, but when it's on, I think it looks fine. I can't even tell. Plus, I'm not even going to be using, hopefully not going to be using the screen. I'd rather just use it as a viewfinder, so that won't be an issue. Although the viewfinder was a little bit, I don't want to say damaged, because it's probably just normal wear and tear. But I instantly went on Amazon and I just bought a new eyepiece, so that should be here tomorrow, and then that should be good. The lens is fine. It looks like a little faded, but I really couldn't care less about that. I mean, I'll probably buy a new lens within like a month or two, but yeah, this will be my new camera. I have a few people lined up who want this, so we'll see if anyone actually gets it. There's one thing I want to look into for this camera though. This last month or so, or not even that, literally starting a week ago, like right after I bought this, I started having issues with this camera and the memory card reader. Now I've been running Magic Lantern on this for maybe 8 months, 9 months. I hadn't had any issues with it in the past until a little over a week ago, when just out of the blue, I was having issues with the memory cards, saying that there's an error, or essentially what I've found is that like the root files on the memory card were either missing, corrupt, broken in some way, to where I'd put in a memory card that had Magic Lantern on it. I'd try to boot up the camera and nothing. It'd be stuck in this weird like boot log like error, to where it wouldn't actually boot. It'd be trying to read everything off the memory card. So even though it'd be technically on, you'd get nothing on the viewfinder, nothing on the little display, nothing on the actual screen. But it'd be still trying to read that memory card, so it'd be getting really hot, and it'd be just draining batteries really quickly. And the only solution would be to take out the battery completely, and then take out the memory card and either try to keep cycling through that memory card until it finally worked, or put it in a brand new card, or not brand new, but like a new card. And that worked until it went through like 2 or 3 cards. So I don't know if it was just cards that I had Magic Lantern files on already, or if it somehow messed up the camera and now it's essentially giving other card errors. So I'll probably look into it before I give it away, because the last thing I want to do is, give or sell, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, is sell a camera to someone that is not going to be able to use it, and it's going to be corrupting their memory cards. That's not cool. So I'll look into that before I do anything, and we'll see. It's, like I said, been a good camera, but I'm really excited to use this. Another reason why I'm really excited to use this is because I have my gimbal now, and this should be, granted, I didn't have it with the battery pack on the gimbal, but it should still be significantly lighter. We'll see. There's that. Grab one of these batteries. can do this. There we go. I mean, I'm no professional, and I'm not a digital scale, but this is significantly lighter than this hefty boy. Plus, look at that. It's much smaller. I was also looking at the 80D and 90D, but again, I wanted full frame and I wanted mirrorless. So we'll see. I'll get it set up on the gimbal right now and can show you what it looks like. So here it is on my gimbal, the Zhiyun Weibo Lab, and that's what it looks like on the gimbal. Oh, it's so nice. It's significantly easier to balance. And look at that. I don't even have to worry about it hitting. It's just all set to go. I haven't set it up yet, but with or at least with this Sony camera and all the newer ones, I actually have the ability to plug the camera into the gimbal. There's a little USB port right there. So I can always hook them up together, and then have control of like aperture, shutter speed, I think even ISO, from the controls. And if I buy like a $50 little plate, I can even have my phone holder there, and the gimbal has its own app, which is actually not the worst thing in the world to use. So this was another reason why I was really excited to get a mirrorless camera, because if I wanted to, I could do video recording on this gimbal like that. Check it out. I'm using a gimbal to record a gimbal. Look at that. So good. And with the Canon, it was extremely massive. But yeah, I'm excited. Should be cool. Should be fun. I feel slightly motivated to make more videos now because I've got this new to me camera. So yeah, let's see what I do. So this is like a continuation of my camera review slash unboxing slash how do I like it. It's been like about a week since I've had it, and I've used it like a fair bit, mostly just to play with the settings, but I did use it for my nephew's little party that we had for him, and then I used it at Disneyland the other day. So I think I'm able to say kind of how I feel about it. I've got it right over here actually. Here it is in all of its glory. Like I said in the unboxing video, or the same video, actually I don't know if it's going to be two separate ones or one really long video, but it is the A7RII, full frame, mirrorless, and so far coming from the 60D, it's been a huge leap, huge jump, and I'm really happy with this camera so far. I think it's been about a week, not too sure, but yeah, it's been awesome. Picture quality has been amazing. I'll probably put some pictures up or some videos. Oh, pictures first. The picture quality has been absolutely amazing. I've had to play with the settings a bit to get it to act and behave how I want it to. Like I said, I got this used, which is why the screen, I don't know if you can make it out. The screen was probably the worst part of the camera. It was not in like terrible shape, but it had this like polarized coating on it, or just some sort of coating on it. and it was, I think, scratching off. Look, there's a camera. It was like scratching off, so it didn't look very good. But honestly, with the camera on and the display on it, you can't even tell. It looks great. So I just threw on a screen protector, and I mean, hopefully that'll prevent any more scratches. And then I also bought a brand new eyepiece for it. Although I'm not a huge fan of it. I really wasn't paying attention when I bought it, and I thought it was going to be more foamy, and this is just like a really rubbery one, which is fine. But when I put my face against it, it's kind of stiff. So I might buy a new one. Who knows? It works for now. But yeah, so far I've spent like the last week or so just really playing with settings, getting it dialed down to how I like it, figuring out how to work with it, how to do workflow stuff with it. So I think some of the bigger things were it had silent shooting on when I opened it up, so I turned that off because I actually really like the sound of the shutter. It's not like the chunkiest sound, but I just really appreciate a nice sounding shutter. Let me see. Oh, love it. I kind of wish I could have this just be like a like a quick menu view, like my Canon has it. By default, this would just be like my aperture, what mode I'm in. It would say what my ISO was, my resolution, my shutter type, or not my shutter type, my autofocusing type, and all that information. But since it's a digital viewfinder, it won't do anything until you actually put your eye to it, which I don't think it'll work. Anyways, so like, yeah, once you cover up the viewfinder, it'll go into there. But I mean, I get it, you know, but I'm not really the kind of person that will just solely take pictures from the LCD screen, because I don't know, that seems a little awkward to me. So yeah, I've been really enjoying it, mostly because the video quality, which is what I was really concerned with, is absolutely phenomenal. At least coming from the Canon 70D. I think I said 60D earlier. That's not true. 70D. It came from a 70D. It is absolutely amazing. I'll put some clips up right now. I was playing with it yesterday and the day before at Disneyland. So it'll also make shooting the podcast not necessarily better, because it's not always about the quality, but the quality of the video, but quality of the podcast. But the actual video quality should be really nice. And just the fact that I have like 4K will be really cool. Not because I'm expecting to make, you know, crazy cool like cinematic type videos that I'd like to. I just like the idea of having that sort of resolution to play with. But yeah, it's also been interesting to figure out stuff like workflow. Don't mind the dog. So using my phone was kind of tricky because it's not the easiest to pair to, and the app does kind of suck. But I eventually figured out how to use the like default Sony Play Memories app with the camera, so I can use my phone as a remote shutter, and even change some settings. That was really nice. I was also able to look up some different apps that I can use. So one of them being this Camrote, which works really well with the 70D, not 70D, the A7RII, and then also the Field Monitor app. I don't have it hooked up to my iPad, but I have it hooked up to my phone, so I'll be able to use this iPad as a monitor for the camera when I'm using it to record, well, in my mind, the podcast. So yeah, it's been great. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to have made the switch to Sony. I don't picture myself missing my Canon at all. I don't even miss the little flip out screen, because I didn't really even use it for vlogging much. It's mostly just the Osmo Pocket that I'm using. So now that I have this, it should, or at least in theory, be changing the way I kind of want to tackle how I do my videos from now. Before, it'd be kind of like a random bag of camera stuff. I'd have my Canon, my A7RII. I'd have my Sony Handycam that I have, but would just rarely use. It'd be like not even a B camera. It'd be like a C or a D camera. I'd have my Osmo Pocket. I'd have both my drones. Heck, even sometimes I'd have my racing drone. So I'd have 3 drones, and then all the GoPros I have, which varies because I am really bad with GoPros and I lose them a lot. Like, I've probably gone through maybe a dozen GoPros. But now that I have this, and it does video really well and it does pictures really well, I'm going to want to try to take a more minimalist approach. So I want to have, at max, this with me, my Osmo Pocket just for vlogging type stuff, and then just my Mavic drone. Before, I would carry the Spark and the Mavic because I liked the idea of the Spark being a smaller package and it looks a little less harmless than a bigger drone, but I'm at the point where it's fine. I'm not going anywhere that requires that much discrepancy, and if I am, I'll probably know ahead of time, and then I'll just bring one of the drones instead of both. So hopefully it'll mean my camera bag won't be as random or cluttered, and hopefully it means I'm just going to stick to just those 3 different cameras, and as I save up, I'll just build up my lens library. So I'll probably end up just selling the Canon for like lens money. I probably won't get much from it, but it'd be enough to save up for something. I don't know if I want prime lenses just yet over like zoom, but I do kind of want a wide angle, so maybe that's what I'll save up for first. I know people love their prime lenses, which I get it. I think the only reason I would ever get a prime is if it had a really, really wide open aperture, but as far as a whole, like 35 and 50 mil, like I get why people love them, but I'm just not that crazy about them. But maybe I'll save it for wide angle, who knows. So yeah, that's been the Sony A7R II. Really excited, really look forward to what I do with it. Yeah, awesome.